The Witch, Baba Yaga. There once lived a man and a woman who had an only daughter. When his wife suddenly sickened and died, the man was sad and mournful, but nevertheless, he soon married another woman. The wicked stepmother disliked the girl. She beat her and wondered how to be rid of her forever. One day, as the father was out on his cart, the stepmother said to the girl, "Go to my sister, your aunt, and ask her for a needle and thread to sew you a blouse." This aunt was Baba Yaga, the bony crony witch. The little girl was not stupid, and she first went to her own aunt for advice. "Hello, Auntie." "Hi there, darling. What brings you here?" "My stepmother has sent me to her sister for a needle and thread to sew me a blouse." "It's good you stopped here on the way," said the aunt. "Here is a ribbon, oil, bread, and a piece of meat. You will find a birch tree there. You must tie its branches with a ribbon. You will find gates that will creak and bang. You must pour oil onto their hinges. You will find dogs that will try to rip you apart. You must throw them some bread. You will find a cat that will try to scratch your eyes out. You must give her some meat." The little girl thanked her aunt and went off. She walked and arrived in the woods. There stood a hut on chicken legs with ram's horns, and inside sat Baba Yaga, the bony crony witch, weaving. "Hello there, Auntie." "Good day, my dear," the witch replied. "What brings you here?" "Mother sent me here for a needle and thread to sew me a blouse." "Very well, I will give you it, but you must first sit down and weave for me." So the girl sat down next to the window and began. Meanwhile, Baba Yaga went out and told her serving-maid, "I am going to bed, and you go heat up the bathhouse and give my niece a good wash. I will eat her for breakfast." The little girl heard and sat there half frightened to death. As soon as Baba Yaga had left, she begged the maid, "Oh, please, dear serving-maid, don't put too much wood on the fire. Pour water on instead, and carry the water in a sieve." And she gave the maid a handkerchief. Meanwhile, as the maid was setting up the bathhouse, Baba Yaga woke up. She went to the window and asked, "Are you weaving, dear niece? Are you weaving, my dear?" "I'm weaving, Auntie. I'm weaving, my dear." When Baba Yaga went back to sleep, the little girl gave some meat to the cat and asked her, "Cat, tell me, how do I escape from here?" The cat replied, "Here is a comb and towel. Take them and run away. Baba Yaga will chase you and try to eat you. Put your ear to the ground, and when you hear her coming, throw down the comb and a huge forest will appear. She will try to run through the trees of the forest, and you will run far away. If you hear her coming close again, throw the towel down, and a wide, deep river will appear." "Thank you so much, cat." The little girl thanked the cat, took the towel and comb, and ran. As she ran, the dogs tried to tear her to pieces, but she tossed some bread to them and they let her pass. The gates squeaked and tried to bang shut, but she poured some oil on the hinges so they let her through. The birch tree swayed and tried to get into her eyes. The girl tied it up with a ribbon, so the tree let her go. She ran with all her might without looking back. Meanwhile, the cat sat down next to the window and began to weave. Baba Yaga woke up and asked, "Are you weaving, dear niece? Are you weaving, my dear?" And the cat answered, "I'm weaving, Auntie. I'm weaving, my dear." The witch rushed into the hut and saw that the girl was gone. Instead, the cat was sat there weaving. She gave the cat a beating and yelled, "You! Why did you let the little girl go? Why didn't you scratch her eyes out? Why didn't you scratch her face?" The cat answered her, "I've served you for years, yet you've never even given me so much as a bone. But she gave me some meat." Baba Yaga then ran out of the hut and ran to the dogs. "Why didn't you bite or stop the little girl?" The dogs answered her, "We've served you for years, yet you've never even thrown us so much as a bird crust. But she gave us some bread." Baba Yaga ran to the gates. "Why didn't you make any creak or bang? Why did you let the little girl go?" And the gates said, "We've served you for years, yet you've never even poured so much as water on our hinges. But she oiled them for us." Baba Yaga ran quickly to the birch tree. "Why didn't you put your branches into the girl's eyes?" And the birch tree said, "I've served you for years, yet you've never even tied me up with so much as a thread. But she tied me up with a ribbon." Baba Yaga began to yell at the serving-maid. "You! Why didn't you wake me up, and why did you let her go?" And the serving-maid said, "I've served you for years, yet you've never even given me so much as a rag. But she gave me a handkerchief. She was kind and sweet to me." Baba Yaga yelled and cried out in anger. She then decided to sit in her mortar, take her broom and fly after the little girl. She swept her path with the broom as she flew. The girl ran and ran, stopped for a second, put her ear to the ground and heard a rumbling. Baba Yaga was coming for her and she was very close. The girl took out the comb and threw it over her right shoulder. There grew a tall forest. The roots of the trees went deep into the ground, and the branches were so high that they reached the clouds. Then came Baba Yaga. She began to chomp and break through the forest. As she was chomping and breaking through, the girl ran further away. Sometime later, the girl again put her ear to the ground and heard a rumbling. Baba Yaga was coming for her, and she was very close. The girl took the towel and threw it over her right shoulder. At that very moment, a wide and deep river appeared. Baba Yaga ran up to the river and clenched her teeth in anger. She couldn't cross the river. She turned around back home, gathered her bulls, and rode off to the river. "Drink up, my bulls! Drink the whole river up!" The bulls began to drink, but the water in the river was not going anywhere. This made Baba Yaga so angry that she bent down and began to drink herself. She drank and drank until she popped. All the while, the girl kept running and running. That night, The father returned home and asked his wife, "Where is my daughter?" The stepmother replied, "She went to her aunt to ask for a needle. It seems like it's taking her a while." This worried the father, and he wanted to go look for his daughter. All of a sudden, the girl came running home, breathless. "Where have you been?" asked her father. "Oh, my father," answered the girl. "My stepmother sent me to her sister, and her sister is Baba Yaga, the bony crony witch. She wanted to eat me. I tried my hardest, and I got away from her." When the father found this out, he was angry at his wife and kicked her out of the house. And the father and daughter lived together happily ever after. And so the tale of Baba Yaga comes to a close, as everyone who listened carefully knows.